What's going on? This is your boy, Kareem Queeman, a.k.a. Mr. Bake, shouting out from the D.C., homing from Harlem, New York, and you are tuning into Wow, Wow, Wow. Shout out to Melissa and the Wow team. Thank you.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Melissa, and you're listening to Wild, where we discuss unconventional norms of lifestyle, career, and world points. On Wild, people discuss their journey to becoming wild. Hosted and curated by me, Melissa Witherspoon. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Wild. And today, I have another Harlem night. I have another Harlem boy. If anybody knows me, I love Harlem. Probably I get a bad rap because I am from the DMV, but it's nothing like a Harlem hustler. Like, I'm telling you, it's
Facts.
She's setting the tone already. Okay, so before we get into us just like talking freely, let's get down to the resume because this resume is official. I know every time we say that the resume is official, but like, come on. This season 2, Julian, has season 2 been going hard?
It's been going hard.
Thank you. So, season 2 is coming. Girl elevated. She invested in her business, came back 10 times harder.
Yes, I'm here for it.
All right. So let me get professional, y'all. We're going to get PC real quick. Kareem Queeman, better known as Mr. Bake, is a professional pastry chef and cake decorator. He is the owner and operator of Mr. Bake Sweets, a small dessert studio located in Largo, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. Mr. Bake has been baking for 20 plus years. In the years that Mr. Bake Sweets has been operating, he's done a few television appearances on Food Network, Fox, ABC, Discover Family, and Netflix. He's also a 2020 Business Pride of honoree by the Washington Business Journal. 2021 Pastry Chef of the Year awarded from the National Black Chef Association. As an openly Black gay chef, Mr. Bake prides himself on diversity, inclusivity, community, outreach, and is always making the world a better place, one cake at a time.
Oh, thank you so much. I loved how you said that. It was so nice and porous, and it was so opening. I feel like I want some tea and crumpets. But no, I did love the way you said that, to be 100%. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. So let me get the backstory how I meet. I always give the backstory how I meet these people because people be like, how do you run into these people? I think it's really God calling me because I be telling God,
amen.
Like as a 26-year-old, I need mentors. I always say a mentor does not have to be someone that guides you in life, but just their energy. Just be like, whatever frequency you on, I want to be on that frequency. So I be like praying to God, just putting my hands out, saying, God, just find people that is on that frequency. So shout out to, the Shell Shack, my boss. Hey, what's up?
Shout out to the show. The food is the bomb.
Thank you. Oh, we're now at the Redskins Stadium for this season for the vendors. So pop up.
Word. Congratulations, Shell Shack.
Thank you. So anyway, my boss called me up last minute and was like, Melissa, I said, what's up? He said, I need you to work. I said, work? Okay. Don't we have an event this Saturday? He said, yeah. I was like, but it's outside. You afraid of a little heat? I said, it's 120 degrees outside. So what are we talking about? And I was like, so we're going to be in, air conditioning, right? No, we outside. Cool. All right. How much you paying me? We good. Okay, so I pull up and everything ready. I'm thinking to myself, okay, here goes another pop-up event where we can't be ourselves. We have to be professional. We can't be our normal self, how we are in the kitchen or at the shop and everything. And then comes this Black man that's just like, what's up? And I was like, I heard him talking. I was like, he's from Harlem. I know a Harlem boy. Anyway, I said, hi, hello. I said something like that. I said, you from New York or something? He was like, yeah. I said, what part? Man, I said, Harlem? He said, yeah. I was like,
coming here, I've been saying Manhattan so quickly now. I don't even say Harlem because anyway, keep talking. I'll tell you about that.
Okay, so and then I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, I bake. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, yeah, I'm on the Food Network. Now, mind you, yes, that's cool, the accolades, but it was his frequency. I was like, he played the playlist, and it was just like, he made the day go by fast. So we danced. I was doing 2 steps. I I was twirling around. Your homeboys came. I was dancing with them. We had a whole thing and stuff. And then before I know it, the day was over. And then side note, I really want to, me and my dad got to square up. I'm really about to know. Hey, Pops, what's up? Me and him got square up. So,
yeah, tell him what happened.
I know. Well, tell him about your famous banana pudding real quick.
So, facts on that. Well, I appreciate that. That is how we met at a pop-up event that we both didn't really want to do. Because it was so hot.
Yes.
It was so hot. Ugh. Anyway, and she got some banana pudding. I was like, yo, you definitely need to get this pudding. It's lit. It's award winning. And so she's like, I bet I'm gonna get it. Put my two to the side. I said, I bet. So we pull up. We about to do this interview, and she's like, let me tell you what happened to my damn banana.
So I come back, and Dad's like, what you brought to eat? Because my father and the chef have like a bro romance. It's like,
I'll bet.
It's like they, he'd be like, what your pops want food wise? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna bring it back. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, this is what chef got you. Blah 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 blah. He was like, but what's this? I said, oh, it's dessert. I said, there was a fellow there next to me. He makes amazing stuff, sweets. And I was like, okay, cool. He was like, so you got me some? I said, yeah. He said, all right. Took the banana pudding. He ate it. I was like, oh, it's good and stuff. So I had an extra one, y'all. An extra one. I come down, 8 o'clock, lovely Sunday morning. Just said, I'm going to eat my sweet instead of eating dinner and eating breakfast or whatever I wanted to eat. It was gone. My father ate both of them.
Crushed it, son.
Crushed it. I wanted to square up with him. We still having issues.
Yo, can I tell you? Because even the people at the pop-up, like when couples or just two or more people come, like, oh, we're going to get one banana pudding. And I'm like, wait, do y'all both plan on sharing this? They was looking like, yeah. I was like, nah, you don't want to do that. Like, you definitely
You said that. You really did
I was
say
like,
that.
you definitely want to get your own, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to finish this and you're going to be mad. Because you're going to be like, you're going to eat a spoonful and you're going to be like, I got to share this with somebody.
You remember the married couple? It was a 2 married couple. It was like, oh, I just eat off my husband. He was like, no, this is cause divorces. Like, we don't need this.
Yeah, no.
Keep the black community together.
Yes,
black
absolutely.
Family.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I had a few people that came on my Instagram right after a few days after the pop-up when I posted like a picture of the pudding. And they was like, oh my God, that was like one of the best banana puddings I've ever tasted.
No, my father said it reminded me of his great grandmother that's been deceased for 30 years. So like,
and that's beautiful. And that's really why, like, one of the things that make me feel happy about baking is because it not only do you get to feed the people, because everyone has to eat, but you get to create new memories with people, but then you also get to awaken nostalgic memories of what, because I do a lot of Southern baking, and we talk about TV shows. One of the things I said with Bobby, because Bobby Flay was like, what you putting in yours? And I said, I'm putting love in mine's, baby. And that's truly, like, it's something that rolls off the tongue for me, but it was the truth. Like, dead ass, like, I'm definitely cooking with passion in this, because when I got into it and really maybe go into pastry and baking was because I knew it was the last thing people eat at functions. Usually, it was the last thing people eat at functions. So I knew that it would leave a lasting memory. You could say the party was horrible, the wedding was okay, her dress looked like, her father-in-law was the shit. You know what I mean? She showed it was late. But you say one thing, what you remember?
The sweet potato bomb was amazing.
That, you know what I mean?
The rum cake was out of this world.
You get what I'm talking about? You remember the wedding cake. You remember the dessert. You remember the food. You remember the DJ.
Yes, you do.
So stuff like that. But you definitely remember food. People remember food because food makes people feel particular ways. So you remember that feeling.
Let's get right into the community. What is the relationship with Black people and food, and specifically desserts? Because this is probably so like but
tell me.
But the show on Netflix that's about slavery and cooking, I've been loving it. I've been watching it and just seeing how it really holds a test of time to get us here. So, in your opinion, as a Black chef and a Black culinary person, and also Mr. Bake,
okay,
explain the relationship, how you feel you see Black people in the community and desserts.
Well, okay, so let me just tell you the story of how I got into it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I tell you that because I think it will circle back. First of all, let's shout out to Hodge on the Hog or Hog on the Hog.
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. Beautiful show.
Gorgeous.
Oh my God. And it took me a little while to start watching it. And I'm so glad when I started watching it. It's long, so I had to break it up in
No, it
sections.
is.
But I learned so much more about the food
I cried.
in my culture and my history. So I was so happy to see that, and then even see the slave trade boardwalk, or the walk they had to take. I didn't have to be there, but I felt that through the screens, and then whatever they were trying to do, if they were trying to display that, it worked for me.
Yes.
But when I say that, is my depiction of it is how I got into it. So my family growing up in New York City, monthly we did family meetings. Within the family meetings, it would be talking about the what's this thing that we do every year? Family reunions, holidays, birthdays that were coming up, who needed help in the family in terms of financial, who has something like just family meetings, just talk about what was the thing, keeping everybody abreast. This is first cousins, my first cousins, down to my second, down to my third, down to my fourth. So this is the lineage that we're talking about.
But that was so ahead of your time, because, you know, in other cultures, when you live in the DMV, that's how they keep, you know, the dollar in the family. But us as Black people, we're still learning that concept. So go on.
Yeah, so that was what they did, right? And from that, we ate at these functions. So every month, there was the food that week that are known for, especially the Southern cuisines. Because granted, I am from New York, but let's not forget
Black migration.
The Black. Thank you. Let's
history lesson, please.
So
please don't act y'all.
you know what I mean. So we ate mostly all the things that Southerners eat anyway. You know what I mean. We just got a little bit more of a little chip on our show. Not saying that we better than anybody, just a little more rough.
It's the Harlem way.
Yeah, it's the New York way. It's a little more rough. It's a little bit more industrial. Let's say more industrial. So that really got me into how food plays a part in our culture and our families. You know what I mean? Food brings everyone together. You know, I remember growing up as a kid, we ate dinner at the same time. We ate summer dinner at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Wintertime, you ate it a little bit later. If you didn't speak to family members, you could still eat at the table with them, even if they sat across the opposite end of the table for you. So food, to me, what I've seen growing up, not only felt good or tasted good, I should say, it was a way to bring family members together. It always had that. And then when you do come together, let's say like your aunt made her poppin' macaroni and cheese or sweet potato pie, you will come together and you will reminisce about that, how she had transitioned or that person transitioned. So food then will go ahead and stand the test of time. It's like music. You get what I mean? You just said, your father said, this reminds me of when I was X, Y, and Z. Who used to make this for me, X, Y, and Z? Yeah. That's timeless.
That's timeless. But then you capture someone's soul and heart, and you got them for life.
You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that's what food speaks to the mind and the body.
No, so it's paint Harlem as a young boy growing up and baking with your grandmother, because that's essentially, from doing my research, that's where you learn how to bake.
Well, okay, so I started baking because I fell in love with sweets. I literally just like sliced cakes. My aunt used to make the sliced cakes for the family functions. So you're talking about yellow layer cake with chocolate frosting, coconut cakes, pound cakes, sweet potato pies were there, strawberry layer cakes, lemon cakes, obviously, you know.
And what's this thing they never gave you an easy bake oven? I'm really upset.
Oh, yeah, they didn't. No, they didn't. I don't think they had it financially, right? And they probably didn't want to pour into what they thought this, like, different, and I put air quotes for those who can't see us, this child who's a little different that we want to feed into the feminine side that we see that is arising in it.
People think it's feminine.
No, the feminine side of my actions as a young child. Not even, it might be even thinking like women back then, females were the ones who were cooking when the culinary world back then was male dominated. Right. You know, still is male dominated, but it's male dominated. So I actually started baking. I baked my first cake in my mom's house. The reason why my grandmother was so pivotal and important from my younger age, because she gave me a space to continue to bake. My grandmother always gave me a space to be myself. Not saying my mother didn't give me a space to be myself. My mother was a young mother. So she had me when she was 20. As well as still navigating the world herself. As well as what I found long to find out that breaking up from her, let's say high school sweetheart, that damaged her as well. So, you know, my mother's navigating through all of that, not necessarily understanding what it means to be a pastry chef or to go into the culinary world. You know, when you're talking about a single parent person with 2 children, my brother is 3 years older than I, and you have 2 Black males in the 90s.
Yeah.
You are thinking about, are they going to get shot and killed? Are they going to fall into drugs, gangs? That you think about what was all popping then. We talk about the Central Park 5. We talk about stop and frisk when we had, who was that, Clinton administration at the time, when I was a young kid. We talk about O.J. Simpson. You know, that was 96, 95, 96. So all of those things that transpired, the gangs were big, Bloods, Crips, and all of them, especially coming across into New York City. And then let alone you having a child that's a little different. So now we have the overhead of HIV/AIDS,
Right.
which we were still trying to find some more understanding, and we didn't have adequate medicine as we do today. But so that to me, a little bit as a picture of growing up in New York City. It was fun. It was scary. All in the same breath, because like you couldn't walk through certain blocks. I'm from 145th Street in St. Nicholas. So those who know Harlem, big up Sugar Hill. You know what I mean? So 145th Street, which is Jackie Robinson Park, you couldn't walk through the park. You had my aunt lived literally. I lived on 148th in St. Nicholas. My aunt lived on 147th and 7th Avenue, and the park was what divided us. We could not walk through the park. We had to walk 3 blocks down just to walk over. And so we literally essentially walked 6 blocks.
For safety reasons.
And we walked together. It was the time when you told somebody, text me when you get home, and you like, no, you text me when you get home, because people were getting robbed. Young women and men were getting abducted and raped and killed. You know what I mean? So it was tough times. You had drugs, like we played around on the block or in the playgrounds or schoolyards where crack vials were on the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a safe place, but then when you were with your crew and you was with the block, you felt safe. You felt like this is what it was. So yeah. So it was a lot of different things.
No, but I was just wondering how that environment made you to be like, okay, sweet. I want to become Mr. Bake. I know, just doing my research once again, that you got the name because you was in a sneaker store and you ran into somebody, you was trying to holler at them.
So growing up in New York, because I grew up in Sugar Hill, literally I grew up in an apartment building.
Yeah.
Old school apartment building, but it was you could tell back in the day, this apartment building was the building of riches, because it was only literally each floor had 2 apartments.
Oh.
And then had maid entrance doors, side doors to them, because of the way they broke it down and made them six units on each floor. 8 units on each floor.
Okay.
And you could tell the way the rooms and stuff were broken up. You could tell the way the building is designed. This used to be the door to go in, and then this was the side maid entrance door. And you could get the history. I got the history of the building a little bit later from one of my mentors. But across the street from this, a tenement building that held a slew of young adults like myself, as well as single parent and double parent households, but more single parent households, more people who were being raised by their grandmothers because their parents who had been on drugs, because you got to think about that as a heavy crack era. You know what I mean? Alcohol and crack era, where the government pushed that into the ghettos.
Yes.
Okay? Into the urban communities.
Yes.
So we got the heaviness of being picked on because it was heavy. So all of this bullying that y'all say, stop bullying, baby, we were bullied. You know what I mean? But it made us stronger. But on the opposite, we saw drugs being dealt on a corner from me, 2 blocks up around the corner. Literally, I can walk on Broadway Avenue on 145th Street and got solicited everything under the sun. Weed, cocaine, ecstasy, crystal meth, stuff I never even heard of until I started listening to rap music. Right. Okay? But then I used to see Black brownstone owners right across the street from me, who were lawyers, who were doctors, businessmen, or women. You know what I mean? So I got to see the best of both worlds living in that particular area in which I was raised in. And I think for me, because I've been thinking about my story, like what made me out of the people that was around me. My best friend also, shout out to my sister Shaniqua, who is an excellent, just we and her both just came out of the same environment. We came out of the same household, you know, maybe 2 different kind of stories, but pretty much the same environment. And we made something of ourselves. And many of the people off the block that we grew up with did the same. But there's a lot of people that didn't,
Right.
right? And I think for me, I looked at both of them and said, what do I want to be? Do I want to be my homeboy smoking weed, slow to work, can't keep a job? Or do I want to be the person I see next door, the black guy or the black female who's a doctor, lawyer, who's owning their brownstones, driving around Jeeps? And then when I even started to go into the actual interning of culinary and food, I saw black business owners.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I saw those things. I didn't see white people owning. That wasn't mine. Like, oh, I wanted to be. Yeah, you do look at TV and say, you know, I do want to see what white America is doing, and I want to emulate that per se. But most of my stuff came from either internal or from what I saw, and I decided to make the conscious decision on which road I wanted to take, A or B, because at the end of the day, honestly, some of us, you do have a choice, and we say, I didn't have a choice, I had to do this. You do, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't smoke marijuana until I was 26. And the reason why I didn't is because I saw everybody else, what it did to you. I used to sit in ciphers in the park, 4 or 5 blunts. Dudes just smoke. I used to hang out with the dudes. No matter how gay I am, I hung out with the dudes. I hung out with the niggas. Facts. I was on the block. And they protected me. I was like, I want to smoke that. Well, you ain't smoking. I guess they also saw some kind of potential in me as well to not let me go down that road.
No, okay, so let's bring it back, because now you just got a whole bunch of questions in my head that's not even on this paper.
Okay.
This is just me. Okay, so you talked about how because like I said, I'm a stalker. I how I live. That this is what made you want to be a boss. So would you say reputation, seeing people that look like you with just color, skin tone, with everything, made you be like, okay, I want to be a boss? Because some people, I feel like society now, well, I feel like our generation have an idea what a boss is, but it's not a real definition. And what you just described, saying, I across the street, I saw black people in brownstones, lawyers and doctors and this and that, described of seeing, I saw what a real boss was.
So honestly, y'all, I'm gonna tell you real talk. It could have been that influenced my thoughts and my decision making. But bro, I'm gonna tell you, I remember sitting in my grandmother's house. My aunt, I think, was still alive, and my aunt was still alive, so in my aunt's house. And I was like, what do I want to be? Literally was telling myself, like, yo, what I want to do, what I want to be. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be my own boss. Who would have told this young whippersnapper that he was going to be his own boss? Like, I proclaimed it. I said to myself, I want a household name. I don't know how I'm going to get it. I wanted to also create a space for us because of the environment in which I was raised in. So my natural thing was I want some kind of nonprofit after school program geared towards inner city youth, where it's revolving around the arts, culinary arts, videography, wood shop, all of those things that kind of help guided me into the direction and where I'm going. And then I also wanted to create a space for people who were once incarcerated and trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Transition back into society.
Yes.
So transition back into society. I wanted to give them an opportunity to teach them a skill. I realized that a lot of my black brothers and sisters, when they were coming home, they weren't we know the system. The system was not built to make us survive. So therefore, I wanted to change those narratives as a young kid. So I just kept all of that in the back of my mind, or in the forefront of my mind, I guess, at the time, and was like, well, this is going to push me to excel. Because I want to be a beacon of hope for the next generation. Look at me, a freaking middle schooler, talking about being a beacon of hope. And honestly, and we're talking about this now, and it's hitting me now, how important that was for me as a kid. And that was truly one of the driving forces to get me to where I'm at today. And I normally would have said to you, if you interviewed me, let's say January of this year, I was moving through, but no, I was intentional always, and from the beginning of my career, when I sit back and think about it, because even when it came down to where I wanted to be as a pastry, like in the pastry realm, I literally told myself, and I said, at that time, it was only 3 positions I knew: a bread baker, cake decorator, and a pastry chef. And I broke them joints down and said, bread bakers have to be to work at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That's not happening with me. Get out of here. Pastry chefs are usually the last people to leave the restaurant. That's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. No, ma'am, I want to party. So I said, I think a cake decorator probably got like a 9 to 5, a 10 to 6. They work every other Saturday, off on Sundays. Okay, work. That's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And then I said, I'm going to work in every aspect in the bakery. We're going to talk about the hustling and how you actually become the boss, because becoming the boss is not really just saying I'm the boss. Anybody can say they're the boss.
Because people romanticize entrepreneurship.
They romanticize their entire life. Their entire life, my girlfriend. Yes. Even when you date somebody, don't you start fantasizing your entire next date, the entire
Yes, you do, and you be trying not to.
Don't you do that? They fantasize the entire thing. We was just talking about somebody on my line, because I'm like, girl, they're having a whole fantasy over their child, and I'm about to pluck their Disney and Pixar. It's literally about to get boop. Baby, this is not it, baby. This is Endgame. End this now. This is Marvel Endgame. Yes. End it. Yes. End it now.
Yes, no. So, we're going to get into it and stuff. But no, you're speaking about it. But power of the tongue.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Yes, because
wonder working power in the blood. Sorry, I just had to get y'all. Oh, y'all know me. I'm like, Radio Raheem. I walk around, and if a word, phrase, I start singing a song. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, power of the tongue. No, I agree with you, because at the age of 9, I knew I wanted to do entertainment. I was playing your Peppa on an Annie play, and I literally was just like, I had the smallest role, but everyone came up to me and said, yo, why you didn't play Annie? And I was like, okay. And then I ran to my mom on stage, and I said, Mommy, I'm going to be on TV. Mommy, I'm going to do this. Mommy, I'm going to do that.
Look at you.
And she looked at me like I was fucking crazy. And she just blinked her head like, okay, baby. Because my mom she's an ex-police officer. She retired, 26 years in the DMV, did all that. Beautiful. She's like.
Thank you, Mom, for all your hard work and dedication. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for being a good cop.
Yes.
Okay, so she was like, entertainment, baby. Oh, okay, baby. Cool. And so to look at me now, I agree with you. It's something that's the power of the tongue. So let's get into the power of the tongue. Okay, so power of the tongue.
She don't even know where to start, y'all. Y'all should see her face. She was looking for it.
Okay, power of the tongue.
I mean, it's powerful. It's the belief. The power of the tongue is speaking out your beliefs in your dreams.
Yeah.
Truly. Not knowing sometimes how they're going to happen to manifest, but just believing in it. Before I get into the story of the power of the tongue and how it's worked for me, I'm going to tell you, even when they don't understand, you still keep on.
You gotta be delusional. Every successful person I've been researching is fucking delusional, and I'm one of them, and I'm proud of it. I don't hide away from my crazy.
Delusional.
Yes, I read that in the book. I forgot what book. It was like every person that is a mogul, successful, they're a little delusional, and just to own it.
I can see it because we have big dreams.
Yes,
and a lot of people don't see the vision that you see. And what I learned in 2019, because I spoke this to everyone I touched, literally, whoever wanted to work with me, I said, you don't see what I see, nor do you feel what I feel. And I can't stop that burning fire that's inside of me. But I'm going to let you know right now, if you are choosing to do X, Y, and Z with me, just note that I'm moving from this particular space. I even told people it didn't matter if you was a lawyer or a PR representative, a manager, everybody. I don't care if you Emmy Award winning, because I've spoken to them PR people for just, help. And if I couldn't afford them at the time, or they didn't have space for me, or didn't make space for me, whichever it was, that didn't stop. And I told them, you either going to be on one, this is only 2 positions in the ship. Okay? Seriously, let's get it. Only 2 positions in the ship.
Yeah.
It's either you're going to be on the sideline watching it go down, or you're going to be a part of it go down. You have 2 positions for me. Because the way I'm looking at it is, I'm not being cocky. I know what I want.
Right.
I'm going for what I want. And it has nothing to do with anybody else, because my dreams are my dreams. My aspiration and my goals are mine. They're not no one else.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're not going to be yours to see, for yours to feel, for yours to taste. That's okay. But that's not going to stop me. And I'm telling everybody listening, I know y'all live like, don't let that shit stop you. Real talk. I know we're talking about, and I haven't even gotten to my stories of like speaking stuff into existence.
No.
Number one, I'm even go back. I told you how I wanted to become a household name.
Yes.
People are knowing me nationally and internationally.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm getting in that direction. Didn't know how this was going to happen. I talked about wanting to start my business before I started 30. Yeah. I got my LLC when I was 27 years old. I talked about working every aspect in the bakery field. So when I say every aspect, I mean I was a dishwasher. I was the wholesale baker. I worked for small businesses, like small black owned or small single person owned businesses. I've worked for large corporations. I've done front of the counter staff, just like a barista style. I've done assistant store manager, key holder. I've done a GM. I've worked with 2 stores, hired people. You get what I mean? I was a training manager. You asked me to work in any aspect of the baking field, I can do it.
You was hungry. I
was always hungry.
And I like just touching that. People want to be a boss, but don't want to be hungry no more.
They don't want to do the work. My cousin told me, you put in your 10,000 hours. You put in your work. I interned everywhere I wanted to learn something out of New York City, no matter what bakery I interned at. I worked and I pulled up on it, knocked on the door. I worked for free because I wanted to learn something. So therefore, the value that I was getting from there was not going to come in finances.
Right.
It was going to come into skills that once you put it in my mind, you know what they said, baby. Once you teach somebody something, you can't do it. You got to cut my hands off and I'll stop baking, but that doesn't mean I stop working and I stop eating.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Because I can teach you how to bake.
Right. And you keep the wealth going, you keep it, you mentor, you bring, this is how you build community. And not even that, just taking it back to the old saying, if you teach someone how to fish, they can eat for the rest of their lives.
And that's exactly what I wanted to be taught, how to fish. Not to be monetary gains because I had a job. I had a part-time job. I started working because anybody knows you live in a black hole household. I ain't got money for that. Put that down when you get in the store. Some of us, got everything we wanted, and kudos to you. But some of us was ruled with a little bit more toughness. Some of us did not have it. My mother had kidney disease, and by the grace of God and the blessing of life, she was able to have 2 kidney transplants in her lifetime. Wow. You get what I'm talking about? So when I looked at things like that, I'm like, well, she always told me, you want to be going, get your own. I'm going to just go out and get my own. So I would never have to have somebody ask me to do something for me or to be somewhere for me or to do this or do that. So it was a hard way, but it told us to be independent.
It was your story. Everybody has their journey when it comes to manifestation that's going to take them. That's one thing I have learned in 2020 is that, don't compare when it comes to manifestation, whether you believe in God, whatever, I believe in God, you put it out to the universe. That's when God starts orchestrating your journey to get you there. So your journey might look different from the next journey, but that was created for you because you had to go through those steps so you can get to what you needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of the stuff, honestly, is already ordained for you. It's already been moving in your space, and we didn't see it. So I'm going to tell you, when I was younger, people saw entertaining in me, saw personality, saw the television aspect. Oh, you could be on TV. Oh, you got like this. So you could do this. And I'm like, girl, I ain't trying to do all that shit. Girl, get me behind this kitchen. Let me make these cakes for these girls. You know what I mean? Slay over this hot kitchen, clean up and go home. I wasn't even thinking about television. I know you're going to ask about television. So I'll wait until we get there because that's going to talk into the part of the other level of manufestation. And I don't want to jump your flow of things.
No.
It's whatever way. It's whatever's. It's whatever's.
So let's go.
Hold
on, you want me to give really quick? Repeat the shows you've been on because I have the full bio. Okay. All right, so Okay, he did Cake Boss, Baking Like Buddy on Discover Family, America Best Baker.
Hold on, which I was a winner of. The Cake Boss Bake of
Let them know.
Like Buddy.
Let them know.
Shout out to
Okay,
that.
America's Best Baker, Girl Scout Baking Championship on the Food Network.
My first Food Network appearance.
Oh, let them know.
Okay.
Beat Bobby Flay on the Food Network.
Yes.
Where they talked about, what was it, sweet potato cake?
I did a pumpkin cake.
Okay, and it was like, this thing is out the world. Yeah, the girl does the research. Okay, Sugar Rush Christmas Season 2, which we gotta talk about how you was cut out in the second round, which was the
dessert confection set, right?
Yes. But the way you like literally took I don't even lesson because I don't hate loss. The lesson was so like it made it seem like you was the winner. I was like, yes.
Did I not win?
Yes, you did.
Did I not steal your heart?
Yes, you did.
Did I not sing sweet Christmas melodies to you?
He was classy with it. You know what? Class is everything, y'all. Bring black classy. Bring black classy.
Yes. Let me say something. One of my favorite writers is James Baldwin. So I'm always going to go back to a Harlem Renaissance era for you and bring back that. Because I remember when black men and black gay men, when I saw them, because I saw 2 different kind of men. I saw the hood, the urban, street man. I saw the working man. I saw the black street man, black gay street man, and I also saw the black working man, black gay working man.
Mm-hmm.
So to see all of those different realms of men and women, because I was raised by strong black women.
Right.
Okay. So to see all of that, there's a certain finesse when you have class,
Mm-hmm.
when you step into a room and you demand the presence and you don't have to speak.
Also, he has been partnered and worked with major companies including Disney, BET, 21st Century Fox, Universal Pictures, NBC, Fox, aka Fox 5, shout out to Hometown, Target. Oh yes, so yes, check his resume. His credentials are official.
Okay, thank you. So I'm actually also was a featured judge on Food Network's season 3 of Buddy versus Duff. Yes. So you'll see me there as well, doing that as well. So. Yes. And we got some new stuff. We got some more stuff coming out for y'all towards the end of the year.
Like I said, he's a part of the family now. Yes. With the WOW family, we keep everybody up to date with all our alumni of what they do. And we support them. They are. We build communities over here.
My first TV thoughts were like 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And I want to challenge myself. I didn't think that I had it to go up against my peers in a cake decoration competition. So I doubted my ability to do that. But I knew how to bake. And I knew I produced good quality baked goods. Okay. So I said, fuck what you heard. I'm going to go out for a competition that is baking related, more baking forward. Mm-hmm. Anyway, did the whole process, made it all the way up to the last screening, and they chopped the girl. They didn't see it for me. Yes, my pros are he and him, and they may change between she and her, but I really am he and him all day, every day. I identify as a male, if you want to classify that, but because I am a gay male, and I will use she all day, and I will describe myself as her. So I just want people to know who they're talking to. All right.
You know.
You got to educate the kids, because they still getting their pronouns together. I'm still getting my pronouns together as a black gay male, so please. I'm bearing with you, bear with me. All right? But, so did that.
Okay.
It didn't get it. And I was like, I'm bummed. Like, fuck this shit, right? Yeah. But didn't give up. Did it again. Went after something else. Got casted for a show. Mm-hmm. Shot the entire pilot for the show. Loved it. Even the producers of the show loved me. Mm-hmm. That other people on the show was like, oh, you trying to get your own show? And I'm like, no, I'm truly trying to challenge myself. Like, this is challenging myself. Baking on a different level. This ain't even about. It wasn't even about what it's now. Like, it wasn't. I'm telling you this right now. This is 2016.
Okay.
Mother was excited, elated.
See her baby on TV.
My baby on TV. She's elated, right? That show never got picked up.
It's a business.
It happens, right? Yeah. So bummed. You hear about it a whole year later, like the show never got picked up. I'm like, oh my God. So then I tell myself, like, well, I'm not going to stop there. So I keep going. Mm-hmm. So I do another one. This is where Buddy, Cake Boss people hit me up. And they're like, we're shooting a new show called Bake It Like Buddy, which is the Cake Boss's nickname. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's a family-friendly game. So you need a family member. Boom, do it with my cousin. 2016, we got the show. 2017, we got the show.
Okay.
My mother had just passed. I was in a depressed state. It was the worst year of my life.
Yeah.
And she was sick for 6 months, 6 to 7 months before she passed.
Okay.
And they was like, we want you to shoot the show. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We didn't shoot the show until the top of 2018. Mid-2017, and we could talk about this later, the spirit hit me, God, whoever you want to, you proclaim yourself to be, look up a higher being if you do. Mm-hmm. God reached out to me, the spirit hit me and was like, I need you to start working on yourself and get out of where you are. Literally, the message came to me like that. And I said, and I know I'm listening to myself anyway, because I've been doing a lot of different things throughout my life.
Yes.
I'm listening to my intuition and the God in me. So I was like, I bet so I started seeking mental health. I've always wanted to do therapy.
I love therapy. Right? I go to therapy right now every 2 weeks.
Right.
It's amazing.
Shout out to all the therapists out there doing therapy.
And really, black therapists are wonderful.
And changing lives. Shout out to them, because I have a few therapists that are my close friends.
Okay.
And did the show. Anyway, so started going to therapy, started doing that work on me. Mm-hmm. We get the show in January. We about to tape the show on 2018, top of 2018. they bombard you with a bunch of stuff. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, yo, like, this is a lot. I'm getting overwhelmed. Like, I'm just getting out. The Spirit also told me I needed to fast. I needed to fast from vices that I was using to come through, get through the time, which was sex, alcohol, and weed. So I started to fast at the top of January, slowly incrementing each of them to cut them off up until my mom's birthday, which is March 7th. Okay. So I said, I'm going to fast from January. Well, one I started January 1st. The next one I started like January 15th. And the next one I started like January 27th. Yes. And it's a whole staggering point because I was doing trips in between there too. Yes. So I was like, I went to LA. I was like, bitch, I know I'm going to smoke weed. That's stupid to start in January. Yes. Just wait until you leave. Yes. So things like that. Yes. Did all of that. Did the show. Before we even get the verdict to who won this show, we got the like cake boss saying like a sweet potato cake is one of the best cakes he's ever tasted. You heard that the cake boss said my sweet potato cake was one of the best cakes he's ever tasted before. And he wanted to take it home to his wife. That's how good it was. So I left there. He got off the stage. Before we got the verdict who won, I walked off because he had a little lunch break. And my cousin was like, yo, we won. You know, she's from New York, so she's bobbing her head. Shoulders is moving back. Hands is up in the air. You know, think of Biggie One More Chance video. Like, you know what I mean? Just think of it, right? So she's literally doing all that. I'm like, yo, you know what? I don't even care if we win or not. I'm so happy that I did it. And that's when I realized that I was self-sabotaging myself all these years. I was creating obstacles and fear in my life all these years. Because look how I said I would never do a cake competition. Went up to somebody who we know as a pristine. This cake boss is like, look, national. If you know, you know. If you in the culinary world, you know. Even if you're not, you know, people know the cake boss. Yes, they just know cake boss. They're like, oh, I know the cake boss. Like, you know, I don't watch much shows, but I know the cake boss. Yes. And I'm like, I bet. And they're like, you know. So anyway, for him to give me, your fondant was smooth, neat, clean work, great tasting product. Like that, number one. So major. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, we're good. And then we won, right? Later on, we went. Like, we found out later. I know she went. Screamed. I yelled and I literally threw my hands up and said, this is for you, Mom. Like, I appreciate this, right? Then later on that same year to win another competition, which was the America's Best Baker DC edition. Not like literally that same year. And then so what I said to myself after that show, I said, this is where we get the manifestation and speaking dreams into existence. I said, something clicked and I said, you know what? We're going to change this up. It didn't happen until a few months later, right? And I was working with I got a PR person said, I want to become the voice for the voiceless. When I grew up, I used to grow up watching Food Network. And I watched Imbu Lagasse come out with BAM. Like that whole BAM, like if you know about that, I watched him come up with that. Like I watched that become a thing as a kid. My mother speaking sweet promises in my ear of one day we're going to be on that show. And, you know, I'm like a kid. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I want to be on it because you know how much I love to bake. And I said, there's probably a ton of young, colored, black and brown, openly or LGBTQ plus chefs or inspiring chefs out there who do not see any representation of themselves, who are probably having a hard time navigating these lands, this system. And I said to myself, that's where I made to myself, I guess you could say I was going to be the activist now, the whole, like I'm going to blaze a trail for us. And I started to move with intentions very right then and there. And so I said, I'm going to do TV again. And this time when I do TV, I'm not going to just do it. I'm going to show up and I'm going to make impressions. So not only did I see a dream or go from a dream or a vision that was given to me, I said, I'm now going to move in that space, aligned with that vision and that dream, and I'm going to move intentionally. So when I got another opportunity to do another show, I'm going to show you how being nice to people takes you a very long way. Food Network casting person reached out to me and said, I'm looking for people like you, which was black and males, to be in this amateur baking competition. You're too advanced, so we can't use you. So I gave her 6 people, 2 of them which were mentors and good friend of mine, and other people I've seen through the social media world. She was like, oh my God, thank you, I'm so good, I said, okay, great, whatever. You're welcome. She said, I got you down the lines. This was April of that year. August 1st, She reaches out to me and says, I have a deal. I have a job. I have opportunity for you. And it's with the Food Network. I think you'll be a great fit for this show. I'm literally about to go host my sister's wedding. Like I am the MC, doing all of that. I'm literally outside talking to her. She's filling out the application for me. Mm-hmm. That's how much she wanted to do that for me. Then she said, you're going to interview my homegirl, Stacy. She's good. You got it, girl. Don't worry about it, child. Literally 2 weeks later, I interviewed Stacy. Next thing you know, I'm now being casted for my first Food Network show. Do you understand what I'm saying? So from that, I said, oh, this is for my mother. Yeah. Because this was our dream, you know? So I go on this Food Network platform, which was the Girl Scout Cookie Championship. Mm-hmm. And it's a shot in Jersey. So I'm already excited because I'm not too far from home. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, man, whatever, let's do it. The judges and the contestants on that show, I actually became really good friends with one of them really good friends with, the other one I'm cool with. Mm-hmm. Out of the the five of us that was on the show. Mm-hmm. And the judges on the show as well, 2 out of the 3 I became cool with. One of them, she wound up judging another show. Okay. So finished that show, didn't quite make that show, right? Didn't win that show, but definitely came home or left that show, I should say, being one of the favorite cakes that they taste on the show. Okay. So to me, that was okay. That was me. That's a win because my heart is baking. Right. Decorating, yes, that's second. That's great. I'm glad I love the way it looks. I'm going to make sure the shit looks like something when I give it to you. But honestly, I want you to eat that joint and go, yo.
That was fire.
That was good. I bet I want to go back and get that again. Mm-hmm. Or that's not my cup of tea. I enjoy the flavor or I like the moistness in the product. Like the cake is good. I like the flavor component, but I don't really like, let's say, mint. So I won't get that, but it makes me want to try something else because if this tastes delectable, then I know that something that I do like is going to taste the bomb diggity type situation. So anyway, from that show, we leave this show. One of the judges, the first judge I interacted with, because you don't really interact with them. Mm-hmm. One of the judges hit me. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, nigga, I lost. Fuck is you talking about thank you so much? He's like, thank you for being here.
Your presence is a present, y'all.
Yo. Can I tell you that I didn't even know, like, unless you knew me, I wouldn't know that the energy that I was extruding was going to make people feel that good. I didn't know my powers. So I was like, all right, thank you. Kind of let it go in my brain. I said, I'll process that later. Then the other judge fell in love with me as well. Instantly fell in love with me. So this is September, month later. On my grandmother's birthday, I get a DM from one of the judges. Mm-hmm. And she says, I have an opportunity for you. Somebody called out of being and beat Bobby Flay. I think this is a great opportunity. Mind you, I said to myself, once the show is, I'm going to come back around to her because she can't talk to us in the DMs until the show, or be friends with her until the show is. I'm going to come back into when the show is. I'm going to hit her up and ask her, how does she get into television, like food TV? Because I liked her energy too. She said, this is how I got into TV. She answered the questions for me. I said, well, send the producers my way, child. Put them my way. Yeah. Send the producers my way. Talk to them. They said it's a dessert competition. Da-da-da-da. I said, okay, no problem. Did all the paperwork. Literally that Monday, I left to go to New York City. Went up. They had me stay in Harlem on 125th Street. So you already know I walked in. First of all, I came in like I got something through leaving an impression. Yeah. So the work that I was doing and my intentfulness is working. Then secondly, I'm in Harlem. Then thirdly, let me tell you what we pulled up to. Oh. The old 106 in Park building. Baby. So when I pulled up and I'm getting out the car service and I'm like, greeted by a black lady. So that's also welcoming and inviting for me. I'm like, hey, what's up? She's like, hey, Kareem. I'm like, this is the 106 in Park building, right? She's like, yes, it is. I said, oh my God. Like, which I've been to 106 in Park 2 or 3 times. So I'm like, oh my God, like this is lit.
This is the vibe. God made this. This is oily steps and footsteps. It's all that and more. Yes.
So if you ever or anybody, I definitely tell you go watch my Beat Bobby Flay episode, which is called Nightmare Before Pastry, which came out 2020. Mm-hmm. Kareem Queeman, you should see my name in there. I literally was myself authentically because I felt really good about where I was at that time in my life. You know what I mean? I'm good right now too, but I was really, really happy. Got that show, did the show, beat the other chef. Was like, okay, Now I get to go up against Bobby. I'm playing. If you haven't watched this episode, I'm playing with Bobby.
No, y'all just having this. You being really
like the girls think I know him. Like that's the point. The girls are like, oh, when you hanging out with Bobby Flay again, like people who don't really know me are like, when you hanging out with Bobby Flay again, I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, you know, I don't really know him. You know, I don't really know him, right?
It's giving that energy, like, what's up? How you doing?
Because y'all walk into space and y'all get frightful. Bobby doesn't frighten me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Take up space.
Bobby doesn't frighten me. I came here to do. First of all, I'm too in glee right now to even be intimidated by Bobby Flay. And then when I won against the other chef, at that point, it didn't matter to me. And I say that because I said I get to go all the way to the end. People get to see more of me. And baby, did they. I made this man you got to watch that episode. Cocktails were being made for this man. I'm literally dancing around.
It was like, he's coming. I'm bringing heat. It's either, can I be invited to the cookout? It really wasn't like, can I be invited to the dinner party? It was like, he was asking, can I be invited to the cookout? But it was just that. Keep going.
Right, like even when the judges on the show was like, this ain't the Bobby Flay show, this is the Kareem show. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to make it my show, but I watched that episode so many times, and I'm going to switch on to the show. I watched that episode so many times, I started to look at what people were saying. Mm-hmm. The way I was moving in that space and never been in that space. So why would you know what I'm saying? Why would your energy and your body and the guard prepare you for a space you're unknown and make you look crazy? You get what I'm talking about? He prepared me for an unknown space. Yeah. So I glided through this space as if it was my own kitchen in my own home.
Yes.
Okay?
And I'm here with you.
Did that. Bobby comes to me right before we get the verdict again. Bobby comes, it's more reassurance before the verdict is given. Bobby comes to me and says, while we walking up, because me and Bobby don't do too much talking, because we competing, and he goes on his side, I go on my side. He goes and he says, I've never seen a studio audience go up for anybody like this. He says, where are you from? I said, I live in D.C. He's like, all right, bet. All right, cool. Like, we're going to talk about having you back. I won. Do you get what I'm saying? I won. No, I did not need to win the competition for bragging rights. My goal is so much bigger than winning the competition at hand. Yes, winning competition is great. We want to win. We want to brag. We want to put some more shit on our resume. But that was my plan. But my bigger plan was to be remembered, to leave an impact, to be intentional with everything I was doing. So Bobby said that, left that show. Then I already started doing the taping, the interviewing process for Netflix Sugar Rush. Mm-hmm. Netflix Sugar Rush was intentional again. I wanted to showcase 2 Black, gay, openly Black chefs. I know I said Black twice, which I...
No, and how y'all represented it was so classy and stuff. But y'all was y'allself. It wasn't like y'all tried to water it down. But it wasn't like they was trying to build to a stereotype. They was literally themselves.
Oh, if you don't, okay, you got to know me to know. Y'all know me. Y'all just heard me started singing. So when y'all watch this Netflix episode, I'm literally singing.
Yes.
In every part of the episode. And they edit me so well. Like the edits they got, the bites they got from that, like the boom towards the end for the promotion.
Yes.
Yo, when they literally showed the Netflix, the trailer for it. The trailer for it, and the trailer for it, and then at the end of the trailer, it's boom, and it's me, and it closes out the trailer. I said, this is good. Who would have knew? I didn't even know I gave all of that to them. Like, even calling my friend, like, girl, you all right. So my friends who are other gay Black men were like, you call that man girl on TV? And I'm like, yeah, that's how I talk in real life. Like, why am I sheltering or hiding who I am for white America to feel comfortable when white America don't make me feel comfortable when I walk down the streets?
Now we got to change the conversation because now you brought this up.
You get what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Why am I creating space of comfortability for everybody else and no one's creating a space of comfortability for me?
I really feel like Black people, wherever they are, all to, because you know the Black diaspora is big and round, and it's
colorful.
It's colorful, very colorful. We need to stop coding. We need to stop. I really am banning coding. Like, and just even my personal growing up and a girl in this area going to white spaces, Black spaces, and I'm like, why am I fucking about coding? Like, we really. Like,
I used to stop doing that. I'll be sitting in a restaurant and say, oh, yeah, that white person over there. Like, you said, I'm like, girl, he white. What the fuck? I said, bitch, if he by himself, he probably say Black. Or, I mean, He's not offending me unless it's coming with a tone of malice and disrespect. Mm-hmm. If you don't know anything, my job is to educate you because I don't want you disrespecting me or anybody else again. Right? Yeah. You take the educational portion that I gave you, you do what you please with it. But that is my goal. Each one teach one. You get what I'm talking about? That's just who I am. I can't talk about uplifting my people and not uplift the people because at the end of the day, yes, I'm uplifting my people because we've been oppressed and we've been oppressed mentally for a very long time. That's what I'm relieving us from the oppression, mental oppression, right? But overall, as a people, we've been oppressing each other, and I want to liberate that. So I've always said to myself, though, because of the color of my skin, in the stride of my walk, I'm always going to be seen as a Black gay male. That's totally fine. But at the end of the day, like I told my mother back when I was about 14 years old and I did nothing wrong to her, I said, we're both human beings and there's a level of respect humans need to have for each other because we are human race. The ants have respect for the ants. The cat, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're dominating on their territory, then they do what they need to do. But there's some common level of respect. Mm-hmm. Among the same species. We've allowed Western society to create, categorize us. Oh, you're a female, I'm a male, so I'm supposed to like blue, you're supposed to like pink. I am this, you're supposed to be that. Even in the gay culture, oh, you're a bottom or you're a top. Girl, throw that shit out the windows. Why do you limit yourself to live in a box when the world is so beautiful, big, and round? The world can be any shade of color in any shape you choose it to be because it's your world that you are creating for yourself. And we've been so distant that we are living in a world that's being created by us. And you don't have to. You can move in that world. Mm-hmm. Because it's social things you got to just move through so you don't get arrested and shit like that. Like, yeah, we don't want you out here doing wild, crazy shit. But I don't have to. I was just telling somebody about a wedding cake earlier today. She was like, oh, something. I said, lady, you can do what you want to do. Right. This is your special day.
Take up space.
Do not allow what society has put on us for so many years to stick in the box that you want. If you want to do something different, you can do it.
So how do we unlearn the shit that's been placed on us? Because as a 26-year-old talking to, you are in wonderful 30s. Not even going to put the age.
I'm not ashamed about my motherfucking age. I will be 35 in October. Amen. I'm not ashamed about my age.
So did you have this mindset at 26?
Yes, I've always had the mindset of not living in somebody else's boxes of myself. It just took me a while to start breaking myself out of the boxes I put myself in and allowed myself to be put in.
Wow. So how do we unlearn this? And how do we spread this? Because that's the essence of wild.
Learning yourself. The number one thing is to unlearn some things and learn yourself. Learn to love every aspect of yourself. When I was 18 years old, I had body complexity. I had braces. I had acne. I was 18, living at 16, 17. And we had a wall full of mirrors in my house I grew up in. And I stood right in front of that mirror and I got butterball naked when nobody else was home. And I talked to God. And I told God, give me the strength to change the things that I can. And give me the strength to understand and live with the things that I cannot change about myself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we look at certain stuff and we fight ourselves because society doesn't want us to be, or they look down at it, or people talk about it. I'm like, hey, if that's not for you, that's not for you. I'm like growing up now, 35, but soon to be 35. I've met so many people. I've been to so many different countries. Not so many, but I've been to a few different countries thus far and met so many different people. And the things that people love and enjoy and are excited about are so different and so complex and so beautiful. Why am I limiting myself to these things? Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
It's menacing.
Why would I do that?
Menacing.
Why do I limit myself to Hennessy, bitch, when I can have all types of other cognac out there? You get what I'm saying to myself? I know I went to the Hennessy and stuff, but I'm just saying it's like...
Break it down for the people who don't understand what you're talking about. You got to break it down.
Yeah, why limit yourself to that when I can do so much more? So number one is believing in yourself, loving yourself, and you're probably going to ask, well, how did you do that? Number one is we fight the intuition in ourselves. It's the number one, we fight it. There's something telling you, I tell people all the day, and you probably heard this in some of my interviews, there's a civil war in your head. Every day, that's how I call it. I know I'm a Marvel fan, but it's literally a civil war in my head to do the right or the good thing, the right thing or the bad thing, or A versus B. Then creating a C and a D for myself because we create excuses for ourselves to to continue to be down the behaviors, paths of the behaviors that we've been doing. We create them. You know, goddamn well that how many times? Let me just say goddamn well. You tell me this, and this you tell me. How many times, or not even how many times, have you ever had a time in your life, which you have, where something else inside of you, the intuition, the God in you said, do this. And your ass said, girl, bye, I'm going to do this. And then after you did what you wanted to do, because you grown, you said, why not listen to myself and do what someone do?
105 times.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we stop going against the grain and went along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said to me earlier, pray, speak your dreams, and God will open up. No, it's already been there for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're ready to receive it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
It's really when you are ready to receive it. We all are special human beings, especially Black people. We are magical beings.
We really are.
We are still human beings, but we possess a strong power and a connection to the earth and universe and the energies around us. And that's just me personally speaking for Black people. So anybody who wants to argue with me on that, you can do that on your own because I won't have any arguments with you. Mm-hmm. I am a magical being. I am a magical human being. You are not. I do not have superpowers. I cannot read your thoughts, and nor can I levitate. And if I could, baby, I would. But my ability to do certain things is there, and so is everybody else's. And I can't do some things that some people can do. I can probably do it, but not as great as you can. You get what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Let me just say something. I do look up to the Maya Angelou's, mm-hmm. and I do look at how porous and refined mm-hmm. and smart and mm-hmm. funny mm-hmm. they were. Mm-hmm. But I think that since I was a young age, now that I'm getting more stronger and in myself, believing in myself and believing in my abilities mm-hmm. to do the things that I truly want to do on this earth, mm-hmm. And believing in my powers that come with those abilities to do those things. I'm getting more into that. This is truly the calling. So we talk about food like, oh, you're doing everything through food. But I tell people every time, I'm like, yeah, this food TV personality is my next goal, but it's so much bigger than that.
No, I see it's bigger. And it just goes into why community is so important to you. You basically summed it up to the kids, to the folks, to the people, to everybody, why community is important to you. But say it again, why community.
I'm going to tell you, I know exactly why. I watched a speech Maya Angelou gave, and she gave this speech a few times, and she talked about this particular thing, which is an old gospel song called Rainbows in the Clouds. Yep. And when I looked at that and when I listened to that and then I heard the gospel song and I said to myself, this is it. This is what everybody was doing for me when I was a kid. The community is I always talk about the community. If you know about me, I always talk about the community. I give back to the community. My brand literally has a Sweets for the Community initiative. That's what we do. And I give it to it open-heartedly. And through that, through listening to Maya Angelou and listening to the definition of what the remnants of, a rainbow in a cloud was, I said, yo, this is what everybody was to me. They were rainbows in my clouds when my mother was fighting with addictions of her own. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there was a level of addictions. We're not putting it to drugs or alcohol. It's a level of different addictions. You get what I'm talking about?
Everybody's fighting addiction that whether they want to be publicly known or not, or society looks as good or bad.
Absolutely. So when my mother was fighting with her own addictions, or when I saw the drug dealers or the gang members and then the professional people, mm-hmm. you know what I mean? It was all these people poured into me. There was the neighbors who tried every cookie I gave them until that cookie tasted good. You know what I mean? It was the high school teachers who said, you're going to do a high school speech, which I did. Phenomenal speech, which I still have. You get what I'm talking about? Things like that, where there are people who spoke into me and said, I'm going to purchase from you because I see what you're doing and you're going to be great.
So how do we get back to community? I would think that with the climate of the Black community, of course with the Black Lives Matter, of course with the police brutality coming really in the present, we talking about it. I feel like we more have gone the opposite direction of community than we have previously. So how do we get back?
Okay, so we had community. I wasn't around, obviously. None of us was. Well, you and I say.
Yes.
Around the times of
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, where I feel like when I read stories or watch historian videos or documentaries, it was the sense of community in the Black community. There was a strong sense of family, strong sense of brotherhood. And then when they flushed those drugs into our community, it broke the Black man down.
Yes, a lot of
And
our
then
Black
it
men
broke.
need healing.
Then it broke the Black woman down. And once you break the Black women down, you're losing it. You know what I mean? So now we have a lot of single parent households that I talked about, which I was raised in, things like that. And I think with the whole presidency of Trump, COVID, and then with this continuous senseless killing that we now the entire world was on standstill and watched. I think it brought us back to somewhat of a community in our community in terms of the Black community. The world is still trying to get to it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that people having this whole Black initiative or colored or whatever they're designing it up and naming it as and polishing up as. Some of them are for good and some of them are just to look cute for clout. You know what I mean? And honestly, when I'm thankful for the Washington Business Journal. My peers gave me that, right? Because at first I was like, oh, they're just doing this to sign a quote. Like, oh, he's a Black face, but no, my peers. I was actually nominated through my peers. So I had to take back. I didn't tell them that, but they probably hear this, who cares? But I had to take that back to myself and be like, oh, that was my peers that did that for me. All right, I appreciate that because I thought that was something fake. Like, oh, you just looking to check boxes. But then I said to myself, you're looking to check boxes, and that's okay. But the work I put into my career, into my life, that checks my box. You get what I'm talking about? So taking something that might have not been meant for you the way that you would like it to be given to you, but you make it meant for you because you did the work. Don't forget the work you did. That's what we do. We move on. Oh, I built this house. I moved on. And then you're in another obstacle and you ask yourself, well, how am I going to get over this obstacle? And then you create the fears that I'm talking about. Why? Girl, once you the first one talking about you ain't was going to know how to raise a child and now your child 13 years old and doing well? Was you the same one that said you didn't know how you was going to work 2 jobs and go to school, but you did it? Aren't you the same one that said you didn't know how you was going to buy your house, but you bought your home quicker than before you thought you was going to buy your home? Why are you doubting your abilities when you've done it before? You've wowed yourself before. That's what I'm saying. I had to stop doubting my own abilities because I've wowed myself before. And now I'm looking to continue to wow myself every chance I can.
No, you talked about that. The Black man is broken. How do we heal the Black man in your point of view? Because it's the same thing. You only can give your perspective. Yeah. You can only give your perspective because the same thing I feel like the Black woman. We are broken. And I feel like only us as Black women can build ourselves back and heal this up. But it's like we got so many people voices, so many people fighting like, this is the way to do it. This is the way. And we don't. And it's hard because now it's like, who's right? Who has the knowledge? Who has this and stuff? So, in your opinion, being a Black man, no matter what your sexuality is, how do we build ourselves back up?
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to tell you this right now. You need to seek the counsel of the people who get paid to listen. Therapy. Therapy is a tool. Just like you build a home, just like you make a dish. It is the building steps into creating a wonderful masterpiece. If you choose to go that route and if it works for you, it doesn't work for everybody else, and that's okay. But I say that because we have to start going into those rooms that we closed off. We have to start opening the blinds into the windows that we shut them shutters so tight and they have so much dust on them because we are afraid to talk about them. We don't really know who we are, some of us. So we're still fighting and we're pushing against everything and not understanding that, no, you don't need to do that. You're putting your fellow people down. So I would say, first of all, it has to go with self-love because let me tell you something. A person who loves himself ain't gonna hurt nobody else. You give me one person who loves themselves, who's walking around happy and joyful hurting everybody else. You show me one person. Hurt people hurt people. You have to heal yourself. You have to get into uncomfortable conversations with yourself. Seriously. That's why COVID was so hard for a lot of people, because they was trapped. One of the reasons was because they was left alone to their own thoughts.
They had to sit there and look themselves. And that's hard because a lot of people run away with it.
Oh, it's harder than a motherfucker to tell yourself that you need to stop doing some shit, and you don't really want to stop doing some shit because this shit temporarily makes you feel good. Temporarily makes you feel good. And why? When I'm telling you right now to anybody, it's not easy. I'm currently still doing the work. The work is an everyday process. But I'm going to tell you, as you continue to deepen the love of yourself, the work gets easy. Because then you start shutting out a lot of noise from the outside that you don't even really need. Let me tell you how much I found out about I was allowing shit to happen to me from my friends. Mm-hmm. And I said, I no longer desire that. And y'all talking about y'all still, and this is talking to people who still hold on. I have friends I've known for 20 something years. 2 handful of them. That's how still connected I am with people, because I chose to be connected with people. I did that. I no longer desire to put that energy towards other people now on that level. Mm-hmm. I chose to put it towards my career so I can strengthen multiple people now. Mm-hmm. And that's just where my direction is going, right? But I had to heal in myself. I'm healing in myself. I'm learning myself every day. I sit in myself, with myself, a lot.
No, and that's real. And I agree with you. I think that's the step as to take back the power in our community.
It's to take back the power in you. Once you have power within you, once you feel strong, once you know your abilities, and we know our abilities because we use them, we misuse them. We misuse our abilities. Let me tell you something. I know how to swoo you and make you twirl around my finger. But what I've used it for in the past, I've used it to seduce men to get what I want. Not saying I like talking about buy me things because my mother was a girl that loved to buy things, things bought for her. But I just wasn't that kind of person. I always wanted to have my own because you was never going to hold me over me. Mm-hmm. So imagine if I use my ability to not sway you to do something sexually or to buy me or take me somewhere, but use my ability for you to turn around and work for me when I'm not present in the room. That's how I got all the opportunities to the ones that are about to come out.
You're a billboard. You're always a walking billboard. And not in saying that you have to be perfect, because no human...
No, I ain't perfect, child, please. Drop the ball every time. Nasty.
Perfect.
I'm a nasty bitch if you get me on the wrong day, child. Just like this light child getting from me, child, is nasty and ugly. And I don't like to be that person, mm-hmm. but it's there. And I have to be honest with myself mm-hmm. and say that it's there. So then once I become aware of what's there and what I can be, I then can now put it in place from the tools from the therapist and the tools that I use on myself to say, I don't want to get there. So when I see it's rearing its head, I can move and go a different way, because that's not the person who I want to present and be. Now I'm having more self-control, being self-aware, being accountable for your own actions. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, don't be victimizing everybody else. We all played a part. I could have listened better. And I apologize on that aspect. I do agree with you. You could have said that differently. You didn't have to put your fucking hands on me. You didn't have to break my shit. I do agree with you on that. But I also could have done this a little differently as well.
Would you say, you mentioned in the past that, this has been a coming of this by your experience, life. You constantly committed to doing the work, self-love and journey and everything. Because of your exposure of meeting all these type of walks of life, this allows you to be like this now in the sense of exposure equals expansion. That's something that has been living by.
I don't even want to say I was thinking that, but that is a great way to put that. To be honest, like I wasn't thinking that until you said it right now. What I was thinking was people like to feel good. Mm-hmm. People remember people that make them feel good. Mm-hmm. People remember people that have personality or wasn't afraid to be themselves or whatever, right? But really, people like to feel. We like to feel good. We like to feel thought of. So if I already know those to be true, why would I not use those powers or use those tools in my advantage? Hello, how are you? I already was doing it anyway. Hello, how are you? I'm doing good. You look good, girl. This dress you got on is fat. Complimenting someone takes nothing, especially when they do look good in the dress.
Yes.
Okay? And if you don't find anything complimenting or the dress is not complimenting, maybe there is something. You have beautiful eyes. Look at your eyes. They just glow. And you emphasize and they feel good. Oh,
even
thank you.
Energy. Just even the energy compliment. Oh, your energy is everything.
Thank you so much. Girl, you'll be all right. I can't help to do girl, you'll be all right because I can't help to even like shrug my shoulders. I wish you guys could see me. But I can't help to do that because I've always said to myself, even when I was a kid, my mother and my parent and my family members need to accept me for who I am. And if they do not accept me for who I am, it's their loss. It's going to hurt me to lose this person in my life, but it's going to help me to stay true to who I am.
So let's get into business real quick because we know people try to romanticize business and keep it. You said in the beginning of our conversation that you was going to get into about, knowing all those jobs allow you to be the boss you are today. Mm-hmm. So let's go.
Facts. I mean, come on. Like, you got to put in the work. Like, this real talk. Like, don't walk into something. I know we live in an instant world. Mm-hmm. You can throw something in the microwave and your food is done, baby. This is not how you build a successful, long-lasting brand. You put in the work, you fuck some shit up, you learn from that fuck up, and you keep it going, and you stay the path. Seriously, son. You know how many times I gotta let this shit go? I could have stayed at a corporate job, worked my way up, became a district manager, did all of this and did all of that, and No, you stay the path, son. You put in your work. People close doors on you, you find another way in, or you go through another door. Maybe that is not for you, and that is okay. Niggas close doors on me all the time. They never called me back. It's okay. Put your work in. If you are really dedicated about something and you say this is truly what you want to do, put the work in. If you don't know if you want to do, put the work in. Still, because I say, even if you went somewhere and said, I got a full-time job and I really want to learn this, if you take one day, you do 4 hours of it a week for like say a month or two, and say I'm going to dedicate 4 hours of free time to this particular task to learn this. If you like it, keep it up. If you don't, you move on. That's it. That's what interns are for. That's it. And stop putting a dollar sign to everything. Opportunities are not going to come with dollar signs all the time. And I'm not saying sell your soul to the devil, but you got to give a little to get some. That's it.
That's it. Okay, so you said we're about to do the benediction, y'all. Okay, it's time to go into the Wild Award. So to people, it's the first time listening to the show, is this your first time hearing us? The Wild Award is people that help you get here. You might know them personally. You might not know them personally. They just can be somebody you saw on TV. It can be somebody that you saw in a magazine. But watching their journey, they might never know your name, helped you get here today. So who is your Wild Award?
Oh my God. Every person that touched me. Okay. I'm sorry. I know that was so vague.
No.
And I say that to you because I said earlier about those rainbows in the clouds. Literally, it was the lady who, my high school teacher who crowned my banana pudding award winning. That boosted my confidence. Why am I letting her go? Mm-hmm. The person who ate a piece of my cake just because and came and said, oh my God, whoever made this cake, it was good and didn't know it was me. Why would they not? The person who I fed food to when I was in high school, the homeless, and they said, thank you. That uplifted me. The young lady who, Marlene, because I told you about my mirror work. Marlene was the girl I used. I don't even know where she's at in this world right now. Mm-hmm. She was grown with one leg shorter than the other. So she had a boot, a thing extended on her boot. And I used her as my example to say, Marlene cannot change that her one leg is shorter than the other. So she has to deal with that. So therefore, I need to then find the strength to deal with things that I can't change. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Marlene should get an award. Because by her living her authentic life, she had no other choice. She guaranteed the space for me to start living my authentic life.
Okay, each week we'll give someone a wild award. A person will buy is wild, and well, that's a wrap. So, Shout out to all the social media pages. Tell people where they can find you at and everything. Drop the whole entire.
All right, I could be found at one of Luke's bars or at the Paint. If you coming down on the Louisiana, catch me at the Paint shaking this money maker. They call me Chocolate Thunder, but no, for real. I do a little dancing, and it's not for pay, but Instagram and the website is Mr. Bake Sweets. That's all one word, so that's MrBakesweets. MrBakesweets.com and Mr. Bake Sweets on Instagram, Mr. Bake on Facebook, Mr. Bake Sweets as well on Twitter. But if you go to the website, honey, she's going to take you to everything. Once you go to the Instagram, you're going to go to the page, top of the page, to the link tree, and she's going to take you to all the shows, podcast interviews. This one will be up there as well. Like, you can just go look at anything that you want that I've done. We also check us out coming out to Food Network at the holiday season. Can't tell you shows or anything like that. Just know that it's coming. And then look for us next year to really just dominate, me to dominate the food media industry, starting with that. And then I'm going to be staying on their necks to become outside of just food TV. So just follow me, follow the journey. Thank you so much, Wild, thank you, Melissa, for having me. Thank you for just connecting with my spirit when you felt it, and bringing us all together here. I think that what you're doing is an amazing job, and you're getting people's story out there. And I didn't get to mention this, but I learned about the power of storytelling in 2019, and it's been the forefront of my movement and my brand. And I just want to say I appreciate you to giving me a space on your space to tell my story.
Thank you for listening to another episode of WOW. Please tune in, comment, and share. WOW is available on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Also follow us on IG at _WILDHUMAN_. Before we close out, remember this. Inside all of us is hope. Inside all of us is fear. Inside all of us is adventure. Inside all of us is a wild thing. All right, guys. Peace. We out.
Wow, wow, wow.